Alright, here we go. We're back. Another episode of my Train Sim World Journey series. I think this is episode 10. Last episode we had a weird problem where just user error where I couldn't uncouple from some cars. We're just working the Y104 job here, Cumberland Yard. And just we've uncoupled from several of our cars. You see the cars were shoved down there, and we're taking these 3 cars somewhere else. Where we're going with them, I don't know. Another thing, that, and I've mentioned this in previous ones, I don't know why we're doing flat switching in the hump yard bowl tracks, where we shouldn't be doing flat switching, but that's just me. I also mentioned in previous episodes that like my allergies have been acting up, and just because it's windy and it's kicking up so much dust. I've had to blow my nose between recording the last episode and this episode, so we're going to roll to the stop, and then I'll be back, and like we're going to take just a I'm going to take a little pause to go blow my nose. I definitely love the level of detail that they put in this, and I've said it before, like this hose bouncing around, the fact that I can change the wiper blade position and actually, you know, do something with it. All these little things. It's the little things that it definitely adds some more, just more detail to the game. But it's also how empty the rail yards are and the lack of multiplayer. To me, makes the world feel really dead. There's not enough going on here. Like, I don't feel like I could sit for hours and just enjoy this world, just watching trains roll by. I don't think I could do that. Whereas, like, Run 8, I can... Run 8's got even less ambience, but it feels more alive at least. But I'm gonna go get a tissue, blow my nose. Gotten blow nose. Where are we going next? We're down this other track. We went that far to do that. Okay. So yeah, I was saying like the world doesn't feel as alive because there's not as much rail traffic, not a car, not a lot of cars sitting in the yard. From an audio standpoint, though, like you can just sit your camera somewhere and you hear ambient noise, you hear water trickling through the rivers, you hear birds and bugs, wind and everything. You hear other trains, you hear all the noises of that. I think is really great. That is super immersive. But it's just how empty these rail yards. It's like a ghost town, it seems like. Like, you know, and something like, well, look at that's pretty full. That's not very full. Like, that's not a lot of rail traffic in that yard compared to how big the yard is. Water. Throttle idle, just coast towards where we're going. So we pulled cars from down there, put them there. Then we grabbed cars from this track, added into that one. Then we pulled these 3 and we're adding them to this cut over here. What doesn't make any sense though is if this is the hump yard, all this stuff should have already been sorted and then going down the wrong track. I thought I lined all the switches. I think either I didn't, or I think sometimes the switches get thrown on their own. Like the AI, like the scripting's like, you need to throw this switch, so we're going to throw it for you. But I already threw it. That's a nice ear-splitting screech. A little further. Oh, because the brakes, I hit release, but I don't think they actually released. These must be brand new, fresh out of the paint shop box cars because the roofs are reflecting the trees. Yep. What the hell? I just threw that switch. I just threw that switch and it's still going down the wrong track. There, now they should all be set. Yeah, it looks like it's set the right way. I was like, that switch doesn't look like it's lined up the right way, but I'm going to double check the map. That's where we stopped. Ugh, allergies. My allergy pill, I can feel it slowly kicking in. I'm not sneezing every 15 minutes like I was when I woke up this morning. Sorry, it is morning when I'm recording this. It's like 9 a.m. when I started. Actually, it's noon now. But, because actually I recorded episode 8 and took about a half-hour break. Just let the game sit here paused while I ate some food, and then did episode 9. Another 20-minute pause, 15-minute pause while I check some more settings. And now we're here. Not what I wanted. Let's see, how many more tasks do we have? A lot. Oh man. And just working independent brake. I just uncoupled those cars. Those knuckles should be open. This is exactly what happened in the last episode. We went to a couple cars, and I was like, no. You know, that I can see that knuckle's open. That one's closed. It was something that I did not know. Like, I know in the real world, I said this before, I know in the real world that occasionally both knuckles will be closed and you'll have to open them up. But I'm fairly certain I opened up the knuckle on that boxcar when I coupled up to, or when I uncoupled it from the other cars. So I don't know why it's closed now. I had a small brain fart. I'm like, what button do I press to go back into cab view? It's 9, right? Yeah. There's the couplers and the draft box gear. Rolling, I'm gonna grab another tissue. I felt a sneeze and I held it back. Just about time to get back up to track speed. I'm reading someone's post on the forums about rail driver support, and I'm like, oh wow, he's got actually some pretty good points there. Again, I don't know why we have to go back like 700 yards. To make that move, to make this move. I gotta change, switch this track. That switch, that's right, okay. Now we're gonna grab these cars. I don't know, I guess this makes sense because we had to go to that crossover. But, a lot of times it's like, you're moving way further than you need to. And you have my hand on the throttle and it's like, no, you went a notch too. I'm like, well, I guess. And so we're going to go 400 yards, tie into another cut of cars. Now I open up when I uncouple those cars, the ones we just dropped off, I made sure to uncouple at the locomotive. That way the knuckle on the locomotive should be open and ready to lock in there. nice and easy. A little bit of independent brake. A little rough, but now reverse 729 yards. Now, maybe we need to use that crossover that's down there. Maybe we don't. I don't know what our next move is. We probably have to use that crossover. Like how pressing 2, it's either there or there. I know there's a button to like jump down, but I can't remember what it is. Watch, we're not going to need to use this crossover, and we didn't need to move like 700 yards. We need to move 200. A little bit of independent brake on and off, just to get the speed down as we get closer to where I want to stop. Still overshot it, but still pretty good. Where we got to go next? Map here. Oh, we did have to use that crossover, okay. And coupling up to those cars. Before I do that, though, I want to make sure that this knuckle is open on the end of this train. The end of this cut we have here. I don't want to bump into it and have to like move 10 times. I'd rather just check it now. Be the most fit engineer in the world. I'm sprinting down the tracks. Yeah, that knuckle is open. This is where multiplayer would come in handy, because you could have your conductor sitting down there. And they could have checked that knuckle for me. He could have already been riding on that point and told me, yes, that knuckle is open and you're good to go. Or he could have been down there and opened it up for me, and then we would have been able to complete our task. Or, you know, well, I mean, it's not that we're unable to complete it. We just wouldn't have had that long delay of me getting out of the cab of the locomotive and running all the way down there and checking it myself. riding along. I do love the detail that they put in cars parked there. And little things like the traffic cone and stuff. It definitely make this world feel like it's lived in. It's just, I keep saying there's just not enough other trains. And you can't make the argument of, well, computers can't handle having thousands of pieces of train cars and stuff. It's like, run 8. Last I looked, the server that I play on, we had like just under 16,000 rail units in the world. It was like 15,500 and something, so like almost halfway up to 16,000. Nice and gentle on train independent brake. Get the speed down, we'll do about 8 miles an hour, and then just accelerating fast. Release the brake and just let the train coast at 4 full application of everything. Again, if I had a conductor, I could just be sitting in there and the conductor could walk down here and uncouple these cars for me, and then I could start backing up. I want to uncouple that, or unlock that coupler, just to be safe. I want all of them to be uncoupled, or opened. I feel we're really, really restricted that we don't have the ability to jump. That's going to be it for this episode. I'm going to start reversing. Catch you guys in the next one.